In the throbbing heart of 1940s Los Angeles, a tapestry of dreams was woven amidst the backdrop of war recovery and vibrant nightlife. Crowds flocked to neon-lit diners, and the rhythm of jazz spilled through smoky lounges while cars crept sluggishly across the foggy streets, eclipsed by an unsettling haze. It was an era buoyed by hope, yet shadows lurked within the pulse of the city, hinting at secrets waiting to be uncovered. On that fateful morning of January 15, 1947, the sun struggled to pierce through the thick, chilly air as a young mother, surrounded by suburban tranquility, pushed her stroller down a peaceful street. Each push forward seemed to resonate with the promise of new beginnings. But as she turned the corner near 39th and Norton Avenue, the serenity shattered in an instant. What she stumbled upon was a sight that would ignite fear and fascination and imprint itself in the annals of Los Angeles history. As she approached, a tremor shot through her very core, believing at first that she encountered a mere mannequin left behind by careless hands. But with every step, the truth unfurled before her like a dark flower, revealing the grotesque reality of life. It was no lifeless doll that greeted her gaze, but the pale, mutilated body of a young woman, lifeless and cold. Elizabeth Short, an innocuous name that would soon echo through the streets in a chilling refrain, the infamous Black Dahlia. The discovery sent tremors through the city, stirring an eerie cocktail of horror and intrigue. Churning rumors cascaded over coffee cups and newspaper headlines alike. Who was she? How had her dreams turned to dust on these quiet lanes? As investigators scrambled to piece together fragments of her story, Los Angeles held its breath, captivated by a macabre enigma. Was it the work of a deranged mind? Or was the city itself reeling from a collective dissonance that needed to be silenced? The vintage sepia tones of Black Dahlia's life are forever immortalized, inviting questions that linger long after the last whispers fade. Elizabeth Short's haunting presence remains embedded in the legacy of Los Angeles, reminding us that even amid dreams and neon light, darkness can loom unexpectedly, leaving indelible marks on the fabric of time. Her name, forever intertwined with a sinister masterpiece, echoes a tale of illusion, vulnerability, and the perilous dance with fame. A ghostly reminder that the narrative of dreams can often take a twisted turn, laying bare the shadowy depths lurking behind a glamorous facade. In the dark, bustling streets of Los Angeles, a sense of dread cloaked the city like a shroud. The LAPD was not taking the Black Dahlia case lightly. They rallied an army of 50 detectives to comb through every whisper of a lead. Each piece of evidence felt like a mirage, leading them down twisted paths that spiraled into dead ends, leaving them grasping for shadows. The investigation became a labyrinth of desperation, where detectives questioned a parade of people, from glamorous actors under the glittering lights of Hollywood to weary soldiers coming home from war. They even preoccupied themselves with ex-boyfriends and transient drifters, whose lives momentarily brushed against Elizabeth's. But despite this exhaustive manhunt, hope began to fade, eclipsed by a growing darkness. Then, in a sinister twist, letters began to invade the public consciousness, sent to newspapers with cold calculation. The clatter of a typewriter echoed ominously as the teeth of cut-out magazine letters meshed into malicious messages that made their way to the Los Angeles Examiner. The sender, branding themselves as the Black Dahlia Avenger, painted a chilling picture of a game, a deadly charade. Among those envelopes lay treasures of terror. Personal artifacts belonging to Elizabeth floated in the open air, like spectral reminders of her life. Her birth certificate, intimate photographs, and even the address book that harbored whispers of her past became taunting reminders of what was lost. Each item, meticulously cleaned with gasoline, puppeteered an eerie message. The killer's dance with the law was in full swing. As the newspapers blasted headlines in bold letters, "Dahlia killer taunts police," the city began to descend deeper into a fear that was palpable. Panic and paranoia threaded through the residents like a spider's web. Did the killer lurk among them, gloating as the media covered their every move? They were not just hunting a murderer. They were in the throes of a sickening game where the killer was the puppet master, and the detectives mere marionettes. The winding corridors of the investigation were rife with uncertainty, as whispers grew louder and shadows danced menacingly on the walls of a city gripped with terror. Every clue was a tantalizing piece of a jigsaw that refused to fit, the evidence arching toward an unseen hand that played them like chess pieces, watching as the tragic story unfolded before a horrified public. In the vibrant yet murky backdrop of 1940s Los Angeles, the city of shadows came alive, pulsating with jazz rhythms and the smoky allure of nightlife, where secrets whispered between the shadows of dimly lit clubs. The atmosphere was thick with intrigue, as glamorous actors and elusive starlets mingled with a society shrouded in mystery, all while a sinister narrative unfolded amidst the glitz. At the center of this tale was the infamous Black Dahlia case, a haunting saga that shattered the illusion of Hollywood's golden age. Elizabeth, an aspiring actress, became a chilling symbol of the dark undercurrents that resided within the city. Reporters, eager to sell their stories, painted her as a femme fatale, fueled by scandal and sensationalism. They twisted her narrative, transforming her into a figure that lived only in headlines, while her true life faded into obscurity, revealing a grim reality behind those glamorous facades. The Los Angeles Police Department found itself embroiled in a storm of criticism, facing accusations of incompetence and corruption that plagued the investigation. As detectives scratched their heads over maps, their voices rose in heated debates. Their frustration mirrored the city's growing unrest. Meanwhile, the elusive killer slipped further into the labyrinth of the city's underbelly, a ghost haunting the very streets that once basked in the limelight of fame. Whispers of Elizabeth's connections to the film industry and dark corners of Hollywood elites rippled through the city like a chilling breeze, stirring the pot of speculation. Yet amidst the rumors, the truth remained stubbornly out of reach, lost in a haze of smoke and mirrors. Her last known moments evoke a sense of tragic suspense, seen but a fleeting shadow leaving a hotel lobby, waiting for someone, perhaps a lover or a collaborator, who never emerged from the shroud of oblivion. The final days of Elizabeth remain a haunting enigma, painting her as a tragic victim of a city that thrived on fantasy yet concealed its darkest secrets. The glamour of Hollywood belied a sinister reality, where ambition met greed and innocence slipped quietly into the shadows. As flickering neon lights reflected in the rain-slicked streets, the City of Shadows stood witness to a tale that encapsulated not just a murder, but the very essence of a fractured society, intertwined with aspirations turned to dust. In the intricate tapestry of unsolved mysteries, the case of the Black Dahlia stands out, weaving together threads of violence, artistry, and unyielding suspicion. Among the myriad of suspects that emerged over the decades, one name remains eclipsed in notoriety: Dr. George Hodel, a figure cloaked in both affluence and malevolence. Born into a life of privilege, Hodel was a wealthy physician whose Hollywood mansion served as a backdrop for opulent gatherings, where the city's elite reveled amidst the glow of surrealist art. Yet beneath this polished surface lurked a sinister fascination with death that would forever entwine his legacy with the tragic demise of Elizabeth Short. As the narrative unfolds, the plot thickens with the chilling accusations made by his own son, Steve Hodel, a former detective of the LAPD. In a melancholic twist of fate, Steve painted a harrowing picture of his father's potential involvement in the Dahlia murder, claiming eerie parallels between Dr. Hodel's handwriting and the cryptic letters sent to the press. Photographs found within the decadent walls of his home bore an unsettling resemblance to Elizabeth, while the surgical equipment he possessed hinted at a knowledge of dismemberment no ordinary physician would wield. This compelling, albeit disturbing web of evidence cast a long shadow over Hodel, rendering him an exemplar of both brilliance and abhorrence. The investigation of Dr. Hodel reached another unsettling peak in 1949, as the police's gaze shifted to a graver accusation: the sexual abuse of his daughter. Under the guise of confidentiality, detectives bugged his lavish residence in an attempt to unearth the truth. The resulting recordings revealed a haunting soliloquy, as if Hodel himself were taunting justice, supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary anymore. She's dead. This chilling proclamation painted him as a man untethered from morality, ensnared in a haunting game with fate. Ultimately, however, Dr. George Hodel evaded the grasp of law enforcement when he fled the country, a ghost meandering through shadows of his own making. He died in 1999, uncharged and unrepentant, leaving behind a legacy steeped in obsession and dark curiosity. The unresolved enigma of the Black Dahlia murder remains, with Hodel's name etched in infamy, a whisper of suspicion waiting to echo eternally through the corridors of unsolved crime. In the dimly lit corner of investigative archives, the faded whispers of history echo through stacks of files, each document a fragment of a puzzle that continues to confound. As detectives pore over these countless pages decades later, they unveil a mosaic of tantalizing theories surrounding the Black Dahlia, a case that defies closure. Layers unfold, revealing a tableau that is both vibrant and tragic. The range of suspects is as diverse as the theories themselves. Gangsters, with their shadowy dealings and ruthless reputations, loom large in the imaginations of those who speculate on the identity of the killer. Sadistic lovers, driven by passion gone awry, add a darker hue to the narrative, suggesting that intimacy can sometimes mask the foulest of intentions. Unknown drifters, haunting the city streets, whisper ghost stories of a killer blending seamlessly into the urban sprawl, while some turn to police insiders, hinting at a more sinister veiling of the truth, where integrity falters in the face of power. Yet, for every theory proposed, a counter-narrative emerges. Some suggest the possibility of a copycat, a criminal birthed from the screenplays of Hollywood's crime tales, enthralled by the public's fascination with the macabre. The allure of fame might inspire a mind to mimic the grotesque, turning a reality steeped in tragedy into performance art. Then, there are the hushed whispers of cover-ups, those who believe that the justice system could harbor secrets that shield influential figures from the spotlight, allowing the guilty to roam free under a protective shroud. Despite the myriad of suspects and theories, one undeniable fact persists. The absence of justice serves as a lingering echo of despair. The corkboard of investigation remains festooned with faces and names, all entangled in a web of uncertainty, question marks fluttering like ghosts among the evidence. Yet through this elaborate labyrinth of conjecture and speculation, one truth looms large: no one was ever charged. The Black Dahlia's killer may have effortlessly slipped through the fingers of time, living and dying in obscurity, leaving behind a legacy of questions without answers. As the investigation continues to rest on a precarious balance, each theory, each suspect swirls into the vortex of inquiry. The allure of the unresolved case calls out like a haunting melody, echoing long after the last word has been spoken. The Black Dahlia case remains an enduring symbol of unsolved mysteries, a chapter in the annals of crime that continues to captivate the curious and the committed alike. In the heart of modern Los Angeles, the vibrant streets pulse with life, a stark contrast to the haunting legacy of one tragic figure, Elizabeth Short. Now tourists snap pictures near the grim location where her life was cut short, their laughter mixing with the whispers of her forgotten story. Candlelight vigils illuminate her portrait, a poignant reminder of a young woman snatched from the world too soon. Elizabeth Short, often immortalized as the Black Dahlia, transcends the sinister folklore spun by tabloids. The layers of her story, filled with dreams and laughter, often remain obscured by the glamorous yet gruesome fabric of celebrity culture. She was not merely a fleeting phantom or a femme fatale, but a vibrant soul yearning for acceptance and love. As the gentle piano melody tinges the air with melancholy, we are drawn to reflect not only on her unsolved murder, but also on the innocence it irrevocably altered. The tragedy of her ending turned her into an emblem, exposing a harsh reality lurking beneath the glitzy veneer of Hollywood. The interplay of beauty and violence reveals a chilling truth about society's obsession with fame and disaster. The ghost of Elizabeth Short lingers, a continuous reminder of the shadows that shroud Tinseltown. Her name echoes, engaging us to remember the depth of her existence within the enigma of the Black Dahlia, forever interwoven into the fabric of Los Angeles lore. Click on the subscription button for more chilling horror documentaries.